All right, and we're rolling. Could you tell us your name and a little bit about your service?
My name is Chris Bolton. Um, you just start from the top, or
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
story, or
Yeah, or as much or as little as you want to tell. Yeah.
let's see. So I was in high school in 2001 when 9/11 happened, and that kind of motivated me to sign up for the military. So I signed up for Army infantry. Went to basic training, and right after high school, did completed basic training. Went into airborne school. Did airborne school. When I was in airborne school, I was offered I was originally slated to go to Fort Irwin, California, training center down there. Was my original contract. Sometime when basic training or airborne school, I got hit up with an opportunity to go to the Rangers. So after airborne school, I went to the Ranger Indoctrination Program. Um, while I was going through that, ended up tearing my Achilles tendon. Was looking at 6 months of sitting around doing details or opting to go needs of the Army. So I went needs of the Army, which stuck me at Fort Stewart, Georgia. Originally, I was supposed to guard William G. Webster, the division commander for Fort Stewart. When I first got there, we had a couple of Bradleys, Blackhawks. We were supposed to just be a general security staff. There's like 5 of us that went over. So we trained with 3rd ID for a year. They had just come back from Iraq, so we trained for a year to go back to Iraq, and ended up being General Webster's radio operator in the 3rd ID Command Information Center. So I was in Iraq from January 2005 to February 2006. Completed the rest of that spring. Got out of active service in June, I think, of 2006. My parents have an auto shop in Prosser, went to work for them. Got into the Army Reserves and worked out of Vancouver, training ROTC candidates in chemical warfare. Yeah, it's all about the military there. I got out of that in 2010.
You did that you like. What did you like the most actually about being in the military?
Definitely, well, I'm sure what every vet's going to say is camaraderie. There's nothing like it. Total brotherhood. So.
When you came back, was it hard to find like-minded folks?
Everybody I knew was a vet.
Okay.
So, I mean, I knew a lot of vets, and so when I came back, like I say, I went to work for my old man's auto shop, and then a year later, I got picked up for Hanford Patrol, and Hanford Patrol was absorbing combat vets at the time, so everybody I knew, all my friends were vets, so the camaraderie kind of continued at that point, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, it is funny. Crowded places make all of us real anxious. I don't know what triggers that, but I can only do about 15 minutes in a store. My wife knows I gotta go. I don't claim PTSD or any of that crap, but there's something to it.
Head on a swivel.
But anyways.
When you say camaraderie, so if you think it would be an issue harder for someone to think it'd be harder for someone if they came home and couldn't find veterans to hang out with? Do you think it'd be a little more challenging for them?
If they could say it again.
I think it'd be more challenging if you were a veteran, you came home and there were no other veterans really around. Thinks that makes transition a little more difficult.
Yes, I was extremely lucky. Even when I first came back, my high school friends were still hanging out, so I still had long-lasting friendships that were there. I could imagine it being extremely difficult going from having the camaraderie of a team like that to going to, say, an apartment in a strange town where you don't know anybody. Would be terrible.
Why do you think veterans are so close? When you say camaraderie, what's that mean to you?
It means we all picked up cigarette butts together. It means we lived through some terrible experiences and said some very inappropriate things to make it okay.
Yeah. So shared experiences help you build bonds, right?
Yeah.
You feel that translates to your personal life too, with non-veterans?
Translate, does it?
Well, if you shared more experiences with other folks, other than just veterans, do you think that helps build relationships? Sharing experiences together.
It definitely does, but it all depends upon the circumstances. You know, as long as there's, I think the hardship is what drives those bonds, and I've been an electrician on an electrical crew, and when we're all in the suck together and everybody's telling jokes and working their way through the day, it really does drive you close together. But I think the difference between that and the military is, at the end of the day, as an electrician, everybody goes home, everybody does their own thing, whereas in the military, we're still together. You don't separate. So you live through the suck and you sleep through the suck, and it just keeps going. So I think that brings a lot more closeness. But
Any funny story you can share? And if it's inappropriate, we'll just cut it out.
Yeah.
But we can always glean something out of it. So.
Funny stories, huh? I know a guy you guys should interview. I know a real storyteller. So, I don't know if it's really funny. It's just what's coming to my mind. It stuck, so now I have to tell the story. So, one time when we were in the Ranger Indoctrination Program, we're doing. So, a funny thing with the Ranger Indoctrination Program. So I came in at a time when they were having trouble with retention. So they, the old ring the bell thing for special, they weren't allowing that when I was in. So they just kept recycling guys. And one of the guys was burned out. And we're going through, and we're going to the big field day. I can't remember what they call it now. The big field exercise that burns everybody up. And this guy, everybody's we're in a group about ready to get on the bus and go, and this guy that had been through it a couple of times already, he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, guys. This is no big deal." Wrong fucking answer. Somebody heard him. They're like, "Oh, okay, no big deal." We loaded up on the bus. They got just outside of base, stopped the bus, said, "Grab your shit." We ran in with all of our gear to the field exercise, which was supposed to be a week-long ball buster. Anyways, we ended up running. We were running all day. I remember there was a fire. We were running around that thing till 3 in the morning. Got 2 hours of sleep. It's 5 degrees outside. Your clothes are soaking wet, and then you're trying to sleep, and the clothes are freezing to you. Anyways, so we're soaking wet, and we're out on land nav, and it's middle of the night land nav. It's find a T-post in the forest in the middle of the night land nav, and it's timed. We found half the points, and our time was 3/4 expired, and we're freezing. So finally we read the course, me and 6 guys, and we went off course into another chock of woods, went down in a depression and lit a fire. So our skills worked. We knew where not to be seen.
You got the evasion part right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, funny stories. One time we was drinking beer and decided we were going to go to the golf course and catch a turtle in one of the water holes, and we couldn't find a turtle. So, oh, this is a good story. So we found this snake and we put him in a box, me and this other guy, and we didn't know what kind of snake it was. We were in the South, but you know, we knew water moccasins were dangerous, so we took the snake into the box and go back to the barracks, and we're asking everybody, does anybody know what kind of snake this is? And we're opening the top of the box, and nobody knows. And this one guy that was super proud to be from Texas says, I'm from Texas, I can tell you. And okay, and he kept saying, I'm from Texas. I think he said it 3 or 4 times before we showed him the snake. Well, anyways, we opened the box, show him the snake. He's like, oh, that's a water moccasin. I'm like, oh, okay. I close the lid, and he's, well, let me see it again. I open the lid again, and he reaches in and grabs it, and the snake kind of rears back at him. He throws it back in the box. Then he reaches in and grabs it again. It rears back and bites him in the hand. So he throws it on the ground, and he smashes the snake, and his 2 buddies are there. So his 2 buddies take him to the hospital. Well, he gets to the hospital. Me and my buddies, we go into the barracks. We look up the snake. We got him right there. No, it's a water snake. Throw him in a garbage can. We go to bed. Well, his buddies hauled him to the hospital. First thing the hospital says, we don't know what kind of snake this is. We need the snake. Well, if you've ever been to barracks, it's just numbers. They didn't know what room we came out of, so they had no idea. So they come back, can't find the snake. Well, I get a knock on my door, 2 or 3 in the morning. It's his company commander, or first sergeant, whole entourage. I'm in my tidy whities, and I'm standing at parade rest, and getting screamed at my door. I tell him it's a water snake, and he's like relieved and says, we'll handle this in the morning. So what had happened was, this kid got taken to the hospital. This hospital said, we need to know what snake this is. His buddies took off to go find the snake. The kid got tired of waiting in the hospital room, stood up, walked out, went walking through the woods to get back to his barracks, and passed out in the woods somewhere. So the whole base was on alert looking for this kid. They had no idea where he was, thinking he's dying of water moccasin venom in the middle of the woods. So my punishment was I had to give snake safety classes and inspect everybody's bags going in and out of the barracks for snakes.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That's pretty good.
Especially being from Texas.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
But
Well, before I shut off, anything else you wanted to add? Because that was a pretty kick-ass interview. Pretty good.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I don't know.
Tell us about your buddies that are coming on Saturday.
Oh yeah. What were their names?
So one's Josh Charvet. I'm not sure what he did in the military. I think he was infantry in the Marines. He was embassy guard in Berlin, Germany, and Bangkok, Thailand. I'm fairly certain he was infantry, and he did something similar as I did, was going through and elected to go do this security detail. The other one, Matthew Flores, he's again, he's a Marine. I'm not sure if it's an 88 Mike in Marines, but truck driver, motor T. So, and I know he was in Iraq, Iraq. So, yep.
Looking forward to the game?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Who else you bringing with you?
I got both of my boys coming,
How old are
6
your
and
boys?
8.
6 and, oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
Charlie and Teddy. My wife, Megan. My little brother, he's a lineman, Curtis, and his wife, Jessica. So,
Still an electrician?
yep.
Where do you work?
I work at Ice Harbor Dam.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Do you work for the Corps of Engineers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Don't call me ma'am. I work for a living.